From Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
Tonight on News Hour, PDP crisis deepens as Governor Wike insists Ayu must resign as chairman. Flood destroys houses, displaces hundreds in Plateau and Niger State. AFCC arrest Ogun Assembly Speaker at Lagos Airport. On the foreign scene, floods in Sudan leave 100 dead, many homeless. Hello and welcome to the News Hour on Trust Television. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. Now, beginning with political stories. Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike has described the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Iyorchia Ayu, as an arrogant man whose ingratitude cannot take him anywhere. Governor Nyesom Wike spoke on Thursday at the flag-off of a road project at Omerolu in Ikwere local government area of Rivers State. The Rivers State Governor was reacting to the PDP national chairman's statement, which described him and his team as small children who did not know when the party was formed. Wike described Iyorchia Ayu as an ungrateful and arrogant man who he insisted to become the national chairman of the PDP and asked him to resign honorably.
The chairman of a party who wants to win an election, your business is to bring peace to your party. Your business is not to divide your party. Your business is not to show arrogance to your party. Dr. Ayu said we are children. Yes, the children brought you to be chairman of the party. The children brought you from the gutter. The children brought you from the what? Gutter. To make you chairman, it is the children.
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission will publish the final list of candidates for presidential, Senate and House of Representatives seats on September 20. INEC Chairman Mahmood Yakubu revealed this at a meeting of experts in Abuja to deliberate on the conduct of next year's elections in a volatile security environment. Yakubu said that the publication of the final list was in line with Section 32, Subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022 and the timetable and schedule of activities released by the Commission. This will be followed on October 4th by the publication of the final list of candidates for the governorship and state houses of assembly positions. The INEC chairman also announced that public campaigns by political parties will officially commence on September 28th, appealing to all political parties and candidates to focus on issue-based campaigns. This, he said, will complement efforts of the Commission to ensure transparent elections in which only votes cast by citizens will determine the winner. Stakeholders and the Independent National Electoral Commission have met with experts to strategize on the conduct of the Nigeria's general elections in 2023. The focus is on the volatile security environment, which have become more widespread because of the wave of insecurity sweeping across the country. Noel Samson reports.
Free and fair elections can only take place in a secure and stable environment. People are free to defer their right to vote because the law does not require citizens to participate in the process, even though it is a very important part of any democracy. It is therefore important citizens must be safe and secure ahead of the 2023 polls as not to be disadvantaged. The chairman of INEC gave an insight into the important dates ahead of the 2023 election. Electoral campaigns, he says, are just around the corner, which is why he's urging candidates to focus on the issues.
In the next 19 days, that is on the 20th of September 2022, the Commission will publish the final list of candidates for national elections, presidential candidates and their running mates, senatorial candidates, and candidates for federal constituencies, that is House of Representatives, as provided by Section 32, Subsection 1 of the Electoral Act 2022. By the publication of the final list of candidates for state elections, governorship and state houses of assembly elections. Campaign in public by political parties will officially commence on the 20th of September 2022 as provided by Section 94(1) of the Electoral Act 2022.
Government is being urged to ensure that all volatile areas across the country are safe for election. The key to this is evaluating the situation on ground so that INEC can adapt to the peculiarities of the volatile regions.
All idea is we have to start talking about how to de-escalate the tension, how to secure the environment such that the Independent National Electoral Commission will be able to assess all areas of the country to conduct a peaceful and legitimate elections come 2023.
Professor Adebayo Odukoshi is asking stakeholders to understand the nature of the security challenges in order to develop mechanisms that will protect the election process.
The global challenges of security in which election managers are expected to operate, and some of the approaches which have emanated over time that could be useful for us to take forward into our deliberations here, particularly with regard to how best we might first understand the nature of the security challenge that confronts us.
With just about 6 months to go to the polls, the onus is now on government and the security agencies to provide an enabling environment for free and fair elections to hold in all parts of the country. Noah Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now to disaster stories. Several houses and animals worth millions of naira have been washed away by flood Thursday morning in Kontagora local government area of Niger State. The flood occurred when River Kontagora overflowed its banks due to downpour in the early hours of Thursday. One of the victims, Abdurrashid Suleiman, said that his animals, house and everything in it were washed into the river. He said 2 of his wives and children were taking refuge in his in-laws' houses. Heavy rainfall has destroyed many houses in Tudung Osi of Jos North local government area of Plateau State. The heavy downpour, according to residents, started in the afternoon when everyone was going about their normal activities. Ado Musa has more.
The residents are seen packing their belongings after the destruction by the flood. For more than a decade, the affected community has been experiencing the same incident of flooding, with reports indicating many people lost their lives, including homes. More than 100 houses were affected by the flood, with over 50 destroyed. The affected residents said, apart from the building, the rainfall had also destroyed their properties, including clothes, food items, among others. The flood has taken us by surprise. We have never expected it. It has destroyed my house and that of my neighbors. The entire family has lost a lot. It was a very bad situation. If this has happened in the night, it would have been disastrous. We thank Allah that it has happened during the daytime. We are calling on government and other spirited individuals to come to our aid. It was a flood that put us in this situation. That is what Allah has permitted to happen to us. We have no word to say than to seek Allah's help for what has happened to us. I have lost a lot to the incident. The fence of my house has fallen. Some of the victims pray that they don't experience such a disaster, calling on government to help them with building materials to cushion the effect of the incident. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Kano State Executive Council has approved and directed the immediate marking and demolition of all existing structures built on Kwaring-Gogau stream in the metropolis. Also marked for demolition are drainage lines within and surrounding Kantinkwari Market with a view to removing all obstacles that hinder smooth flow of both storm and wastewater in the area. The State Commissioner for Information, Muhammad Garba, disclosed this while briefing newsmen on the outcome of the Council's weekly meeting held at the Executive Council Chambers, Government House, Kano. The council has also resolved to commence desilting and evacuation of all blocked drainages within the market and its surrounding, as well as removal of building materials deposited on drainage lines within the market. Troops of Operation Forest Sanity have gunned down 2 bandits in Berenengwari area of Kaduna State. The Commissioner, Internal Security Affairs, Internal Security and Home Affairs, said in a statement that the troops recorded the success while on a clearance patrol along the Berenengwari-Doka axis. He added that the Kaduna State government received the development with satisfaction and commended the troops for another successful round of operations as clearance and fighting patrols continue in the general area. Now, as part of efforts to tackle the menace of crude oil theft, illegal oil bunkering and pipeline vandalism in Nigeria, the federal government has commissioned 8 gunboats for the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who commissioned the gunboats in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital, said it will assist the NSCDC in waging full-scale war against oil theft, which he described as an organized crime, ridding the country of revenue running into billions of naira.
The commissioning of the gunboats, which may hail as a welcome development, is coming at the time the NNPCL says the country is losing at least $20 billion annually to oil theft in the country. At the event in Port Harcourt, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said the move will strengthen the combat capacity of the anti-vandalism squad of the NSCDC to stem the tide of huge revenue loss in the oil sector. Aregbesola called on security agencies to shun interagency rivalry and synergize to fight oil theft and economic saboteurs. The minister maintained that as the lead agency in safeguarding critical national assets and infrastructure, the NSCDC is mandated to reduce crime rates, by extension, take the war against crude oil theft to the camps of the enemies.
We are commissioning today 8 armored gunboats built by Epenac, a Nigerian company, for the use of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. This is a pointer to the level of commitment of the federal government at enhancing the capacity of the Corps to support the process of ending crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
The Commandant General of the NSCDC, Ahmed Abubakar Audi, lauded government for the provision of gunboats, which said are necessary to enhance the fight against oil theft. Audi affirmed that the 8 new gunboats will boost the morale of the Civil Defense Corps in combating the menace of crude oil theft on the waterways.
Oil theft is so alarming, and so we have keyed into the new strategy that the government have developed to curb this oil theft and illegal oil bunkering. And that is a manifestation of what we have seen today that actually indicates or signifies that directive from government.
Given details of the gunboats, the general manager of Epenal Group, Numo Lele Aaron, said production of the gunboats in Nigeria will help improve the GDP and create employment opportunities. He said the gunboats are equipped with the state-of-the-art navigational and communication equipment and powered by twin 200 horsepower outboard engines.
The purchase of these armored gunboats will enable officers and men of the Corps to protect critical infrastructures with ease. This shows that Nigerians can produce good things if given the opportunity.
The Commander General enjoined Nigerians to assist the security agencies in winning the war against insecurity by sharing credible intelligence and information that could lead to arrest and prosecution of oil pipeline vandals and economic saboteurs.
The Niger State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has intercepted a truck loaded with scraps suspected to be defunct Nitel mast and other items that are alleged to have been vandalized. The command's public relations officer, Nasser Abdullahi, said 55-year-old Gali Abdullahi, a native of Geza local government area of Kano State, and the driver of the truck were arrested on Sunday by the Niger State Command's anti-vandal squad on Abuja-Kaduna Road while conveying the materials from Asokoro, Abuja to Kano. He said that the suspect admitted during investigation to have decommissioned a mast belonging to the defunct Nitel at Asokoro, Abuja on the order of his master, one A.A. Kadr, a Kano-based businessman who claimed to have bought the mast from the company through their agent, one Tirmizi. In a related development, the command also impounded 45 jerrycans of 25 liters each containing premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol, from pipeline vandals in Zagzaga village, Munya local government area of Niger State.
A truck with registration number NASCO 410 XA, fully loaded with scrap linked to the defunct Nitel mast under and other items suspected to have been vandalized. One Gali Abdullahi M, aged 55 years, a native of Geza local government area of Kano State. While on their way to Kano, they were intercepted alongside the truck while on their way to Kano. They were intercepted by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Vandal Squad.
Operatives of the Abuja Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have arrested 9 suspected internet fraudsters in a sting operation. The suspects are Basi Sunday Jr., Samson Zakaria, Ogoyi Jeremiah, Sunday Martins, Austin Yaison, Wilson Chinaza, Emmanuel Adeyi, Samuel Mack, and Emmanuel Basi. They were arrested on Tuesday, August 30th at a hotel in the Maraba area of Nasarawa State for alleged involvement in cybercrimes. 13 phones, 3 laptops, and a music box were confiscated from them. Authorities of the EFCC say that they will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. In a similar vein, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has arrested Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Olakunle Oluomo, at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos State. Oluomo was arrested over allegations bordering on financial crimes. A staff member at the Assembly who pleaded anonymity said that the Speaker was picked up Thursday morning at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, by operatives following a tip-off. Reports say that Oluomo has been on the wanted list of the Commission following his failure to honor EFCC invitation several times. He and some others are accused of forging signatures and financial documents of the Assembly. Police in Bauchi have arrested 2 suspected vigilantes for raping a housewife at gunpoint in Dogonrua village in Ningi local government area of the state. Police Public Relations Officer Ahmed Wakil confirmed the incident to Trust TV at the command headquarters in Bauchi. Adamu Imam has more.
The police spokesman said detectives attached to Ningi Division received a distress call, after which the 2 suspects were arrested for allegedly raping a wife of one Alhaji Gare. He also confirmed that the 2 suspects were conspired to have committed the crime around on August 25th.
On reaching the house of Alhaji Gire, they broke into the room of his wife, where they met the wife sleeping. They approached her on gunpoint and had a carnal knowledge of her. 2 of the principal suspects, Babangida Sule, started on gunpoint, then Lawali Sule as the second. On getting the distress call, the Commissioner of Police, Bauchi State Command CP Umar Mansanda, directed DPO Ningi and his team of detectives swung into action and arrested those two culprits, where investigation commenced. The two culprits confessed to the crime. Presently, the suspects were here with us, and we're going to charge them to court.
Police have also arrested one Mato Yohana, 27 years of age, for allegedly raping a 3-year-old girl in Jimbin village of Ganjua local government area, which all of the suspects confessed to the crime. We had argument on whether to rape her or not, but I decided I went first, and then my partner did it after me. We were holding them guns at that time, and surely we have committed the crime, and we regretted our actions after we were apprehended by the police. My work as vigilante is to help reduce crime, but I mistakenly committed the crime. Initially, we went to arrest the victim's husband, but we couldn't get him. Then we saw his wife and she attracted us. We did the thing with her consent. Though she saw us carrying our den guns, maybe that is why she agreed. I'm Mato Yohana, 22 years of age. I raped a 3-year-old baby girl. It was an accident, though I am ignorant of the law that raping is a crime. The victims were taken to the General Hospital Ningi for medical examination. Adamu Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at menace of street hawking. Details of this and more after the break.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA.
Welcome back. You're watching the News Hour on Trust Television. A reminder of our top stories. PDP crisis deepens as Governor Wike insists Ayu must resign as chairman. Flood destroys houses, displaces hundreds in Plateau and Niger states. In other news, the need for youths to galvanize their numerical strength and channel their energies into a political force that will enthrone the right leadership in 2023 has been emphasized. This comes as the nation braces up for the commencement of political campaigns ahead of the elections. The report.
Nigerian youths have been advised to brace up, unite and be focused in whatever they do to produce a better leader come 2023. Makurdi-based public affairs commentator and activist who made the assertion said the failure of government to provide jobs for the teeming graduates in the country is a cross of society problems.
There are a lot of applicants out there. I'm not talking of people who are not educated. Some persons have as much as a PhD, some even a master's degree. They have ideas in their various fields that can be productive and move the economy of this country forward. But what has happened? There is no form of empowerment.
Other residents who spoke to Trust TV reporter urged Nigerian youth to embrace the principles of sacrifice, discipline and hard work for their better tomorrow. They say the attitude of laziness and selfishness portrayed by some youths will not take the country forward, where they called on the youth to step up and make responsible choices.
The issue of unemployment is one of the factors that push the youth to take some of the decisions they take. But we have to make sacrifices. And the choices we make today, instead of taking certain decisions that we have little benefit to us, to sustain us today, we need to sacrifice such a benefit that people will give us some data, giving us data to promote them on the internet. And just because of that, we begin to promote people who are not actually out to help us. So that is a huge sacrifice that we have to make.
While some said, as Nigerians go to the polls in 2023 to decide the next set of leaders, the youth have a major stake in the process and should not allow selfish and unpatriotic politicians to use them to do something that may jeopardize the smooth and viable process of the elections.
I also advise that Nigerian youth should avoid vote. It's a crime for anybody to involved in any processes which are not really allowed in the election process.
While Nigeria, like many economies, is grappling with challenges such as insecurity, economic downturn, education crisis, social ills, among others, Makurdi residents feel the youth can change the narrative by taking part in the electoral processes.
3-year jail term awaits persecuted motorcycle riders, popularly known as Okada riders, and their passengers as the second phase of ban in 4 local government areas of Lagos State begins. This, according to the Commissioner for Transport, Frederick Oladende, is in line with the provision of Section 46, subsection 1, 2 and 3 of the Transport Sector Reform Law, adding that persecuted riders will also have their motorcycles impounded and crushed in the public view. The Commissioner, who spoke on behalf of the Ministerial Committee on Okada, implored the public to join hands together with the state government by complying with the Okada ban, which is geared towards combating the menace created so that sanity can return to the state. Lagos State Government had on August 18 announced the extension of the ban on Okada in 4 more local government areas of the state and their respective 5 local council development areas with effect from September 1. Experts have described street hawking by minors as a vivid picture of child neglect and exploitation by parents and agents who push young children into what has become not only a business for survival, but also for material gains. In this report, Trust TV's Kabiru Lawal takes a look at the street hawking, especially between the age group of 8 and 15 years in the Federal Capital Territory.
The phenomenon of street hawking has considerably increased throughout the world and most especially in Nigeria. Every year, millions of individuals, mostly female, are forced to submit to servitude. In urban cities where the business is commonly believed to be poverty-motivated thrives, children and women, who are the major role players, face different risks, especially rape, accident, ritual activities, as well as loss of education opportunities. However, parents have been cautioned to desist from sending their ward street hawking, as it is against the Child Rights Act, which has been domesticated in more than 30 states of the Federation.
The economic situation is really dwindling and is going down, and which is also contributing to making a lot of parents send their kids out on the street. But I would say on the part of the government, they really have a major role to play because they are the guardian of these children. If we have better laws in place that protects the Child Act and that has strict punishments to those who default these laws, I believe it can go a long way to curbing this issue.
However, parents decree the lack of employment and economic hardship as some of the reasons why they indulge their wards in street hawking to be able to put food on the table. They made desperate plea to government to regulate the rising inflation currently in the country.
Kids should be in school. They shouldn't be seen hawking at about this time of the day. Even if they have to do it, it shouldn't be during school hours. Yeah, I understand this is summer, but I mean, the government should do something about it. Ensure kids go to school.
I didn't mean government now develop interest in this Nigerians individual and creating job opportunity. All this one will not continue.
Government is at the center of it all because without the government, there's nothing the masses can do. Without a strong law in place, there's nothing that can be done. And then you see some children who are on the street. Some of them don't even have parents. How are such children supposed to survive? I feel like the government should make provision, maybe in its budget, that caters for such kids.
Some of the underage children that spoke to our correspondent said the economic situation of the country has made them come out to sell things on street, adding that most of the time their teachers are not available in the school. My parents are not here, but I stay with my uncle, and he has been of help to me. Most time our teachers in the village are not there when we're in school, which made it very difficult for us to learn. My parents are not rich. We have to keep food on the table for ourselves. And I have no option than to arm out and help my parents despite the economic situation. Street hawking is a universal phenomenon which requires urgent attention from all and sundry as it distorts child's development and government policies. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
One of Nigeria's biggest livestock markets in the country is the Maigatari market of Jigawa State in northwest Nigeria. Cows and other animals are being brought in weekly from Niger Republic and other West African countries in exchange for other goods, especially food items. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin visited the Maigatari border town of Jigawa State and now reports.
Maigatari is one of the largest cattle and livestock markets in the entire northern Nigeria. There are different kinds of livestock that are being traded in this market, from the camels, which are mostly brought from Niger Republic and other parts of the country, and then coming down to cows, which are also being sourced from Nigeria here in many parts of northern Nigeria and also Niger Republic. They are also using these cows to bring in goods from Niger Republic, like all these things you are seeing. They use it to bring goods, other goods like rice and some other goods from Niger Republic to these parts of the country. And then in another part of the market also, apart from the cows that you can find in this market, we also have a section where they are selling horses. Different types of sizes of horses are also being traded in this market. There is also another section down there where they are selling donkeys. They are transporting them from this place to different parts of southern Nigeria. There are also other livestock, different kind of livestock in this Megatari market. And in fact, the market is booming every day. You come here, especially on Thursdays like this, you will see a lot of activities taking place. However, the traders are asking government to come inside this business to assist them with capital, because most of them are saying that this market is not actually booming now the way it's been booming before, some like 20 years back. Because they don't have capital, they have lost some capitals, and if government will assist them with capital, they will be able to sustain this business more than the way it is before, and they will be able to make it more booming like it used to be. Because the livestock, the cattle, the cows that are in this market, they are being transported from here. When they brought them from Niger Republic, Mali, and other parts of the country, they are being transported from this particular place to different countries in West Africa. They say sometimes in Burkina Faso, Niger Republic, taking it back there to Niger Republic, Mali, Sudan, and several other countries in West African sub-region are benefiting from this market. And I can tell you that there are millions of people trading in this market on a weekly basis.
Women and girls living with disabilities suffer more physical, sexual, and economic abuse compared to those living without disabilities. They are also at the risk of discrimination, extensive rights violations, neglect, and stigmatization. To reduce the occurrences of these violations, women and girls living with disabilities, as well as survivors of sexual and gender-based violence, have been trained on access to justice in Lagos. Here is the report.
In Nigeria, 1 in 3 women experience several forms of gender-based violence, and as such, women living in disabilities often face double jeopardy. Due to discrimination and stigmatization, women and girls living with disabilities are prone to greater risk of suffering gender-based violence compared to women living without disabilities. As a means of tackling this menace, the Women's Rights and Health Project, in partnership with African Women's Development Fund, organized a 3-day packed training on access to justice for women and girls living with disabilities. One of the organizers, Francis Umo, explained that the program is designed to amplify the voices of people living with disabilities and to enhance their capacity to be credible and effective drivers of change.
The main purpose is to amplify the voices of women and girls with disabilities in Lagos State so that they can speak out and report on issues of sexual and gender-based violence. We want to increase their access to justice for those who are violated.
He called on the Lagos State government and other relevant stakeholders to get engaged and formulate policies which will help alienate sexual-based violence against women.
We want to make sure they get justice, and that's why we are working with them, training them, building their capacity to be able to speak out.
Physically challenged participants in attendance also commended the Women's Rights and Health Project. They attested to enlightenment received from the program.
Well, I've been able to gain a lot because I was able to understand that there are lots of things I was supposed to have known about the rights of persons with disability, especially the women, and that for me to also be able to enlighten others that they have opportunity to attend this program.
I have learned that gender-based violence against women and a person with disability. More so, I've learned 3 things from this program about my rights, and my joy as a person.
Now, insecurity in Nigeria is a recurring phenomenon that threatens the well-being of its citizens. The unprecedented wave of different but overlapping security crises in the country made communities to come up with ways to protect themselves. Musa Luka reports on how some communities are constructing street gates to ensure safety.
Construction of street gates within the communities is now becoming a common thing within the federal capital, as the nation's capital has been facing some security challenges recently. This, however, necessitated some communities within the city to resolve to using street gates. A security guard who spoke with Trust TV said it is important to have such gates in communities, going by the dwindling security situation in the country. He said they interrogate every person going in and out, adding that every car passing through the gate also be checked through.
They're starting work around 6 o'clock. They look any motor, there's movement for inside here, so that if the night don't do around 11 o'clock, they come check inside motor whether they don't carry bad things or they never carry bad things, they check it. They allow them enter inside.
Some residents within the community also explain that though the government is trying to curtail security breaches, it is also part of their responsibility to ensure their safety, as security issues is everybody's business.
We mounted this gate because of the issue of insecurity we have in these streets. So the people around the streets came together to discuss on how to erect a toll gate here so we can put some security personnel here that can help us watch the streets.
Beside the gate that they have here, we have security personnel that are patrolling. We will always like to say government, 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 government. But actually, people are the government. And as such, we don't need to say government must do everything for us. We need to look our side and see what we can do on our own to support the government.
The idea of this security gate came about as a result of insecurity, reported in most of the estate within Gwarimpa. So most of the people around decided to introduce this gate as a means of securing their immediate environment. As you can see, there are about 4 entrances within this community. So all the major entrances have been secured with this fence.
Being security conscious is everybody's responsibility, and to report suspicious persons and objects to concerned authority, citizens are thereby encouraged to play their part. Musa Luka, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Tobacco multinational corporations in Nigeria and across Africa are contributing significantly to illicit financial flows in the continent through tax avoidance and evasion. This is according to a new report titled Tobacco Industry and Illicit Financial Flows in Africa, conducted by the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, in collaboration with Tax Justice Network Africa. The document focused on spotlighting the extent of the tobacco industry's involvement in tax avoidance and evasion in Africa. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim has.
Some of the findings of the report released by the Tax Justice Reform Network in collaboration with the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC, indicated that tobacco companies across Africa have devised new ways to evade tax remittance.
Some of them, they are working with some unpatriotic government officials across Africa to get tax relief, tax waiver, instead of taxing them to pay appropriate taxes that can be used for the development.
Tobacco industry overall, globally, particularly also in the continent, are finding ways of reducing their corporate income tax by managing the prices, underreporting the prices of the imports that they make, and therefore reducing significantly the profits that they declare to the tax authorities.
The report aims to expose common tax avoidance and evasion strategies employed by the tobacco industry in Africa, and to highlight common tax incentives and other forms of preferential treatment extended to tobacco companies and its subsidiaries between 2010 and 2021.
our continent has continued to suffer the consequences of corruption as a result of illicit financial outflow, as well as tax evasion, tax avoidance, and corrupting public officials so that they can have their way. This is why we think it is important that we work closely with the relevant government to provide alternative to even those farmers who are actually producing the tobacco on behalf of these companies, because they are not even paying them reasonable amount.
The project that we are working on brings together 5 organizations from across the continent, from Nigeria, from Zambia, from Senegal, from Kenya, among other countries, and DRC particularly. We find that particularly due to the pressure from the tobacco companies that hold a very, very strong power in terms of influencing policies in our different countries, effort by governments to introduce or raise the tobacco taxes receives many times huge resistance.
The study, which aims to provide a better understanding of the manipulative practices of the tobacco industry to maximize its profit margins while shortchanging African countries, is expected to serve as an advocacy tool for civil society and tobacco control communities, and also guide policymakers to profile comprehensive strategies to mitigate illicit financial flows through the tobacco industry in Africa. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
The Controller General of Customs, Hamid Ali, says the claim of daily subsidy payment on 98 million litres of fuel by NNPC is not tenable. The Customs boss disputed the figure by Nigeria's oil giant when he appeared before the House Committee on Finance. Ali questions why NNPC claims that Nigeria's daily fuel consumption is 60 million litres per day but pays subsidy on 98 million litres daily. The CG's stand is in line with the position of the NNPCL that the nation is losing at least $20 billion annually to oil theft in the country. Deputy Chairman of the committee, Saidu Abdullahi, said that political will is needed to bring subsidy to a halt, adding that the regime is not sustainable as money meant for the welfare of Nigerians is being diverted into private hands in the name of subsidy. Meanwhile, the Debt Management Office, which also appeared before the committee, says Nigeria's debt profile as at March 2022 is 41.6 trillion naira, as deficit in the 2023 budget proposal currently stands at 11 trillion naira.
So how do we get to 60 million every day? So these are my issue, my problems. So the question of smuggling, Mr. Chairman, if you say this petrol is smuggled, if you release 98 million liters, and then if in actual you have released 98 million liters, and then we use 60 million liters, the balance will be 38 million liters. How many trucks will carry 38 million liters? Every day, that's almost 500. Which road are they following? Where are they carrying this thing to?
I think as a government, we have not done too well in doing the right thing, without missing words. And we owe it to this country, we owe it to the people of this country to do what we think is right for this country. We're talking about 6 trillion naira going to subsidy payment that almost doesn't exist. If you did mention, we talked about 38 million liters. That will amount to about 500 trucks leaving our shores on daily basis. We have investment in night concert. Has there been any time that our satellite capture image or images of trucks leaving our shore? So the question is, I think it's a very clear question. What is required is the political will to bring a halt to this.
Now, for more on business updates, Chamung Dabeng has some more.
Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council NSC, Emmanuel Jime, has called for the promotion of public-private partnerships PPP to help the nation's infrastructure development. Jime made the call on Thursday in Abuja during the third quarter 2022 PPP Consultative Forum. He claimed that the forum had made a significant contribution to capacity building since its inception. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Finance, Zainab Ahmed, the Assistant Director for PPP in the ministry, Mrs. Abidemi Emmanuel, stated that the country has yet to fully realize the potential of PPP, also adding that all PPP infrastructure projects create some sort of liability in the future, regardless of how they are produced, managed or financed. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, sold 446.15 billion naira worth of treasury bills during the month of August 2022. This was a 9.47% increase over the 407.55 billion naira allocated in June. With regards to the 91-day tenor specifically, the CBN sold 3.43 billion naira in total in August 2022, as opposed to 5.97 billion naira in July 2022, a 43% decrease. While the amount sold for the 364-day tenor climbed by 8% to 431.19 billion naira from 398.83 billion naira in the preceding month. The amount sold for the 182-day tenor increased by 319% to 11.52 billion naira in August 2022 from 2.75 billion naira in July 2022. As investors kept looking for alternatives to invest in securities with greater yields, the 364-day bills accounted for 94.21% of all sales. The CBN has sold 3.34 trillion naira worth of treasury bills so far this year, 34% more than the 2.5 trillion naira that was up for sale. Additionally, the Central Bank of Nigeria has sold 800 billion naira through open market operations OMO so far this year, 13% more than the 710 billion naira provided. OMO auctions, however, were not held in April, July or August. In addition to the short-term instruments, the federal government sold 1.72 trillion naira worth of FGN bonds, 9.41% more than the 1.58 trillion naira that was up for sale. According to Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timipre Silva, the country will need to spend $20 billion for the next 10 years to make up the shortfall in gas infrastructure. Silva made the disclosure in Abuja as he inaugurated the Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund's MDGIF 9-member governing council. According to Silva, Nigeria's infrastructural deficiency is the main reason for the country's poor gas output, gas flaring, and low domestic gas use. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
And now to stories on the foreign scene. Floods have continued to cause devastation in Sudan, with more than 100 people killed and thousands affected by torrential rains. Authorities are declaring an emergency in 6 of the hardest hit provinces in the country. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs on Wednesday said at least 258,000 people have been affected by the floods in 15 out of 18 provinces. Many residents have been forced out of their homes since heavy rains hit the region more than 2 weeks ago. Dozens of villages have been submerged here since the beginning of the rainy season, leaving hundreds of families homeless, Morgan said. And now in sports news, Spain defender Hector Bellerin is set to resign for Barcelona on a free transfer from Arsenal. The deal also includes a substantial sell-on clause if Bellerin was to leave the Nou Camp. The right-back, who joined Arsenal from Barca in 2011, spent last season on loan. The 27-year-old featured in pre-season but has not played in any of Arsenal's 5 Premier League matches. Manchester City have signed Switzerland defender Manuel Akanji on a 5-year deal. The 27-year-old joins from Borussia Dortmund, where he has made 158 appearances since January 2018. Akanji has 41 caps for Switzerland and played a key role in their qualification for the World Cup. Akanji, who began his career with FC Basel, links up with former Dortmund teammate Erling Haaland following his move to City earlier this summer. He is the fifth signing Guardiola has made during this transfer window, as City look to win a third successive Premier League title and a first Champions League trophy. For more on sports, let's now join Adeni Ajishafe.
Minister of Youth and Sport Development Sunday Dare said the ministry will be producing a special brochure for young athletes discovered under its Talent Hunt program to document their achievement for posterity. The minister made the disclosure in Abuja while receiving 8-year-old silver medalist Adela Adedeji at the just concluded African Gymnastics Championship in Pretoria, South Africa. The brochure, which will serve as a one-stop shop for young Nigerian athletes discovered through this administration's Talents On initiative, will ensure that athletes' names are written in gold as a mark of recognition for their performance. Dare assured the young gymnast who automatically becomes a member of the Talent Hunt program will enjoy the benefits given to other budding talents like scholarships and sponsorship. The minister, while restating the present administration's commitment to the development of grassroots sport, commended the resilience of Adela's parents and coaches in ensuring her development in gymnastics, while the ministry will follow her up in future competitions. And in football, Nigerian representative at the WAFU B Women's Champions League qualifier, Bayelsa Queens, have qualified for the final of the competition, defeating Esper of Benin Republic 6-0. Chinyere Guamalu put Bayelsa Queens ahead in the 3rd minute of the game, while Kafaya Bashiru made it 2-0 in the 49th minute of the game. Glory Edet netted the 3rd in the 52nd minute before Etim.
And that wraps up the news hour on Trust Television. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also watch us live on YouTube. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for watching. Bye.